David not bring him in and I don't know what happened. Couldn't find my fans. This is gonna be one of those episodes. David, you can come in. Just come in.
What happened?
I don't
What is
understand.
happening?
I don't even understand why David is sitting backstage when you could just come in. Like, if you see you're not in the thing, just come in. Oh my god!
I've added myself a few times and I keep getting removed.
Yeah, because we're both doing it.
Oh.
Like, oh my god, this is gonna be one of these episodes. I already know.
See, this is what happens when Logan's not here.
Yeah, you let the crazy people start running the asylum and
exactly. The crazy people are running the asylum.
The crazy folks is running the asylum now, honey. But here we are, and this is what we go do. Hello, and welcome to the Cup. Well, we put the real entity in reality, and where you can always come here first to quench your reality thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am currently drinking just water because hydration is important and water gives you clear skin. So, trying to do what I do. But if I was drinking anything else, I would be drinking it out of my cup mug. Cup mug. Cup mug.
Mine will be here soon.
You can get your cup mug just like Eve's gonna get her cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com, where you can get all of your official cup merch and other things if you just wanna. And we do ship internationally, so there are no excuses. And I'm looking at you, Brazil. I'm looking at you. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad she said Brazil. I thought she was looking at me. I was like, I need to get one. I know.
I'm gonna look at you too, Eve, but I'm looking at Brazil right
now. Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I'm wearing a new shirt that I just got, and it is the one and only Alaska. Hi. Lana, do you know who Alaska is?
Why are you asking questions you already know?
I'm just curious. Alaska is a big name, so I would have thought like there's a chance that you might know who she is.
No.
But I am currently drinking water. At least that's the plan. I haven't opened it yet.
So wait, you're not gonna tell Lana who Alaska is?
I mean, she will find out. I don't wanna put her on the spot right now, but she's pretty iconic.
Yes, she is one of those girls, one of the Drag Race alum. And hey everybody, what's happening out there in Brazil? It is your girl back, Eve the Bunny, Chicago drag artist and queen of Ivy Park. I am still repping some of the Ivy Park Trail Drop, just because since it's fall time now, officially-ish in Chicago, I'm kind of jumping into like my more fall colors. So the nails as well as like the outfits are going to be a lot more fallish themed. You're going to be getting some nice hunter greens and chocolate browns and burnt oranges, and that's usually my vibe right around this time of day. Speaking of burnt oranges, I'm actually not drinking Arizona tea this go round. I think that they're out of the black and whites as of right now at my local convenience store. So, but I got something that I was like a big fan of this summer, and I was like, ooh, I forgot I haven't had one of these in a couple of months. And it is, what are these? Italian sodas from Whole Foods.
Wow.
But this one is blood orange, and it is so good.
Like, sounds good.
It's so
does sound
it
good.
tastes like a sun kiss, and then like because it's an Italian soda, it doesn't really go flat that bad. You know what I mean? So like, it helps. It's really yummy and refreshing. So
lovely. Kind of love that for you. It sounds delicious. Well, we are here to talk about Brazil. And
Brasilia.
Yes, come on, Brazil.
we come in to the workroom after the elimination of Miss Diva Moore.
Hmm.
There's no more.
Yeah, she is no
Oh
more.
no.
She is no more. And subscribe, y'all. By the way,
Do it now,
subscribe. Do it right
or else you'll
now.
forget.
Right, because if you do it, wait till later you forget and then you don't do it. Subscribe because we have a lot of things happening. If we hit 1,000, and we're so close. When I say close, 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 all, as we see at the beginning when David asked me about Alaska, y'all know I don't know a whole lot about Drag Race, but they're trying to make me watch a lot of Drag Race so I can get informed. But I ain't watching it until we hit 1,000. And then when we hit 1,000, I'll watch it and react for you guys. So you guys do that. Hit the button, and subscribe. Or I ain't moving. I ain't watching nothing until I hit 1,000. Period.
Smash it.
Smash it right now. Don't pass it. Smash it for sure. Um, but yeah, we get back in the workroom after Diva Moore is no more, and they're talking about they were sad they were erasing the message, but then right out the gate, Miss Mel decided she had some issues with the way certain people were cheering during the lip sync. And I was like, what? What? And she had some major issues with a couple people about their verbiage and what they were saying and how they were, cheering on who they wanted to win, I guess. But I guess that's what it was. Like, because you were throwing people off and how you're cheering for them and not cheering for the other person, da 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 da. And I was like, girl, shut up. That was my reaction. Now, I don't know what y'all thought, but my reaction was, girl, shut up. Who you ain't how you policing people and who they cheering for? Like, shut up. But
I'm gonna go ahead and say this because it really does make me feel some kind of way because Miss Melusine Sparkle is on my team. I've drafted her. I do still root behind her, and I still, pull hard for her. But she was doing a little bit much at this beginning point. I was like, I'm kind of confused, sis, where this is all coming from, and it. To me, it's one of those kind of things where things like this have happened before in Drag Race many, 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 many times before when girls have been in the bottom and you will hear one girl cheering for one girl over the other one. You know what I mean? Or specifically cheering for this one person as opposed to cheering for this other person. But it's never become one of those kind of things where afterwards, or even if it did, I feel like that almost adds to the competition aspect. Because look at it this way. What if Diva Moore would have survived? If Diva Moore would have survived and then came back and found out half the girls were cheering for the girl she sent home, fine. That should make you want to beat their ass even more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how it's that. It just seemed very, what's the word? It was just very, like, green almost. Like, it's like, it makes me feel like that if there was a conversation that possibly happened in the workroom and there was some shade that was being thrown between sisters or something, she might step up and be like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't be this mean to each other. Da, da. It just came off very like, girl, are you new to drag? Like, there is a bit of a competition aspect in it. Not to mention the fact you're in a competition. So that's just going to happen. It's like, that's the equivalent of going to a sporting event and then telling someone not to yell for their team. Why does it matter? I don't think that the other team is going to get mad because they hear people cheering for the other team. That's either just going to make them do better or not. You know what I mean? That's not really that big of a deal. So it was just very awkward where that came from. I was like, out of millions of seasons, international and US, that we've had of Drag Race, this is the first time anyone has ever said this. So we were like, it was almost one of those, like, you do know what you signed up for, right? Like, you do realize only one of y'all are gonna win. So if they're not cheering for you, it's okay, send them home. It doesn't I'm confused. Yeah, I was. It was very confusing to me. I was just like, "Ooh, girl, I didn't know you wanted to be on this hill. I didn't know you wanted down that hill." But okay.
Favorite.
I think I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself on this one. I'll just say I went through a journey with this. Yep.
Oh,
I thought
I
it was
did.
funny.
I ain't went through no
Crazy.
journey.
I did. I started out on one side, and then the more information I got, I'm like, okay. But that's all I
mean,
have
I
to
would
say.
love to hear the journey though, but you don't have to share
Well,
it if you don't want to.
I mean, okay, it's very unfortunate that the people that she's talking to are people that all three of us really like. But yeah, at first when she was like, "Can we be quiet?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? People always cheer people on during the lip syncs. Like that's standard." But what I didn't notice was that they were like specifically cheering on one queen to finish the other one. I'm like, well, I'll be honest, I don't notice that very often at all. Where people are rooting for one person to lose, basically. Especially
And see,
when
I
they
feel like
just
that's.
met them. They
I
just
feel like
met
that's.
them.
I feel like that is what was making Organzza upset. Is
Mhm.
because it was almost like an ipso facto kind of situation. It was like because it was like an if then statement. It's like if you say these things about this person, then you're automatically saying you want this for this person. And that was what Organzza was like, no, that's not the case. Just because I'm saying I want this person to win, it's like you're saying I'm actively telling her I want you to lose. You know what I mean? Or you
Right.
suck, or da da
Yeah,
da.
I
And
mean,
she's like, that's not what
saying
I'm saying.
finish her kind of sounds like you want the other one to lose to me.
Well, yeah, you want the other one to not win, but you're not saying that the other person is bad or that the other person doesn't deserve to win or anything.
But I could see, like, if I were out there lip syncing and I was hearing that, that would like really demoralize me. But I'm not made for competitions like this. You know?
Right.
Right,
That's
to
another
say,
thing I was going to say. I was
the
like, drag is
thing,
not for the weak skinned, baby. Because, like,
right? Because
that
you go
happens
hear
in
a lot of
competitions
stuff.
all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
All
I
the time.
really cannot think of many examples of it. I can think of like Mistress, like getting some flack on season 15 this year for doing that sort of thing. But she was like, I was doing that for both people. And I actually respect people who can cheer on both people and really root for a good balanced lip sync between two people. Like that's what I like to see. And I would like for their sisters to want to see that as well, instead of see one person annihilate the other.
I
That's not
mean,
as
but
fun.
see, here's the thing. That's nice. That's very, very kumbaya and nice and things. But if I come into a competition and I know somebody more than I know somebody else, and my sister, who I know for years, is
Mhm.
competing against someone who I just met yesterday, yes, I'm going to root on my sister who I know for years. I'm sorry that I don't know you like that. That's like in any
Yeah, I
game
think
that
that's
we
a
play.
different circumstance though,
And I think
'cause
that's
they
what
weren't
this
even in the same group.
and right, and I think that's what it was. Like Organzza was like, I've known Betina
Oh,
for
I
a
missed that if she
while.
said that.
They've known each other. It's like she's
Okay.
like, that's my sis. And so I'm like, and then she wasn't even the one who said finish him. That was Shannon.
Shannon. Mhm.
Shannon said finish her. And I don't know if we don't know their relationships. We just know, and Bettina's been a while for a long time in the business, and so of course people know her more, and they've probably known her longer. So I just think people got to realize the situation is sometimes we just like people more than we like the other person. I
That's
don't have
fair.
to root for you.
I
I
think
don't have to root for you, and I don't
exactly.
have to root against you either.
My whole
Right.
thing is I'm not mad at Melusine for being empathetic. She was being empathetic to Diva Moore, and I respect that she brought this up.
I do.
Nobody had to comply, and they didn't. They
I,
didn't. They
I
said, "No,
totally
we're
agree.
going to do what we want." She
That's
threw
all
out a
right.
suggestion. They shut it down. Perfectly fair.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it sucks because, especially now in the drag community as a whole, one huge way, because when everyone starts drag, you don't automatically start out just getting asked by bars, hey, we want you to come and perform. We want to pay you X amount of dollars, da da da. A lot of times that doesn't happen. Especially because a lot of times when people are doing drag, they're doing them in markets that are either overly saturated with drag or so underly saturated that people don't know that much about drag. So a lot of times you have to end up going through a lot of amateur competitions and things like that to kind of get a bit more of exposure for yourself and build yourself up more. And then that way you're able to get in touch with producers and so on and so forth. So like one hugely popular one here in Chicago is Roscoe's Drag Race. Every Tuesday. It's an amateur competition. They've had it going on for decades. Basically, everybody comes. They all bring one song. They all perform that song. I think they have a second round where they have like a wheel that has maybe like 9 or 10 pre-picked songs on it. Each of them spin the wheel. Whichever song it lands on, they perform about a minute of that song. Then the entire rest of the competition is audience applause based. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I guess the reason why I was a little bit frustrated with Melusine doing it, but also at the same time, it could just be how she was brought up in drag, is like, I know in so many drag communities all over the world, you have to usually go through those amateur circuits to try to get yourself seen enough for you to be able to be booked for high profile things and stuff like that. And when I say that thing can end up being such a demoralizing rat race, like Finish Her is pillow talk compared to what I've heard some girls say about other girls up in some of these competitions. Or if the competition is audience applause based, and they'll have girls up there where you will hear a mouse pissing on cotton. No one will clap for her, and that girl just has to stand there. You know what I mean? And that's horrible. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I feel like that ends up becoming part of the tough skin that you have to build as an entertainment artist, because I feel like that you possibly end up having to deal with that if you were like a comedian and you had a crappy set, you know what I mean? Or if you were auditioning for a play and you did a bad job. It's like that ends up being some of the knocks that you kind of have to take to make yourself tougher, and you have to not internalize that. And I feel like that was why I would have not placed that so much on the other girls to not say certain things, and I would have just focused more on Diva more and building her up more. Like if everybody else was sitting up there shouting saying finish her, Diva, I would have been like, no, Diva, you got this, get it, girl. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, that should have been the mindset I felt like the Diva would have been in if you hear all these people behind you telling you that you want you to lose. Bitch, keep telling yourself, no, I'm gonna beat all of them, I'm gonna win, let's go. You know, and you have to build that in the entertainment industry, otherwise you get eaten alive doing this. And that's not just drag, that's just period. And so I hope going through all of this, Diva's built more of a tougher skin. I hope this hasn't been something that's kind of like, you know, thrown her off or anything like that. But I also don't want to really punish any of the other girls for doing it too, because it ends up being one of those hard knocks that you kind of end up having to deal with in the entertainment industry. Like you said, everybody doesn't like everybody. And it just kind of gets a little more vocal when it comes to like certain types of entertainment, I guess.
Yeah, I think Mel, her saying it, I'm glad if she felt it needed to be said. Her saying it, fine, and the girls took it how they took it, and it was like, "Girl, shut up," or "No, we're gonna do this," or "Sure, we'll listen." Maybe I think just like I said, my first reaction was, "Girl, shut up," but then it was like, I mean, you can say what you want to say. You could, express your feelings, and then they will express their feelings about it, and everybody just move along, which they did, because the next day they were back in the workroom, and it was like all good and gravy, and everybody was like, cool beans and collard greens, let's go. And they were back in competition mode, and everybody was like excited about what the next challenge was going to be. And of course, it happens, they come out looking fabulous and amazing in their little outfits. I was like, okay, Greg, I see you. Okay. I see you, Greg. This
So
mini.
after when Greg, I wanted to say after Greg came out, there was a combination of the shortest amount of time anyone has ever had to get in drag for a mini challenge, but yet what felt like the longest mini challenge in all of drag history.
I was like, what is this bit? Okay, so
It wouldn't end.
we transparency. We just did Germany, and I feel like Germany and Brazil is very parallel this week. Like things is going on that I'm like, didn't we just do something? I felt like Germany's was a very stupid mini challenge, and I felt like this was a very stupid mini challenge. Like you gave them 3 minutes to get in beauty pageant ready drag, I guess. 3 minutes. And then we have everybody walk this runway and go through this whole speech about everybody get a question, and I was just like, why? This beauty challenge lasted way longer than it needed to be. It was so long and so stupid to me. I didn't care for it. Yeah, yeah.
It was 3 minutes of 10 girls in beauty pageant gowns with blacked out teeth. I was like, child, it was every one of y'all, almost everyone.
Yeah, it really felt like a lot of them leaned into the ugly. I think it was Betina that was saying beforehand, like, oh, this isn't a beauty contest. This is an ugly contest. But yeah, it was actually pretty interesting to see for me which ones actually went for a strong look and which ones were like, I can't do anything with this, so I'm just going to
Smear makeup
lean
on
into
my
the
face.
ugly. But for me, there was a clear standout. And that's somebody who I thought had a really good look, a shockingly good look in the amount of time, and they had a good characterization. And for me, I immediately thought Dallas was the standout of all the group.
I
don't
like
know about
Dallas
you
a
all.
lot too. Dallas, I felt like came with a very clear vision of how they wanted to do it, and it was just, of course, very different from everybody else's, which was great because, like you said, like I said, we had a lot of girls with blacked out teeth, and a lot of girls pretending to be ugly, or like their bodies were
Or
broken,
lipstick
or
all over their
something like that.
teeth.
Yeah. I felt like that, honestly, like Dallas and like Naza and maybe like one or two other people were like the only ones that actually tried to make themselves look like they were in some kind of a pageant.
Mhm.
But I thought Dallas was really great, and I loved how Greg played along with Dallas too. I was like, it was already kind of giving me the vibe of, oh, she's doing good in this. So I was like, okay, cool. It was a good amount of the other ones. I was like, I'm getting bored.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's why Dallas won, because
Mhm.
Dallas gave what Greg liked, and Greg was the judge, and Greg picked Dallas, and yeah, I thought she did great too. I thought she was one of the best ones.
Deserved.
Anyway, she was well deserved, and so yeah.
Although Aquarela did not like it, I guess.
Look, Aquarela snatched the wig
Snatched her
off of
wig.
me. I was like, oh. I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was funny. I was like, I hope Dallas didn't like they don't feel personal, because I thought like in a moment, and when you're doing a whole parody of a pageant, you would want that one bitter girl to be like, no, that's my crowd. And I thought it was hilarious.
Aquarela, praise God you did that in front of the right person. Because all I got to say is, girl, if you would have snatched my wig off, I would have had to bop you.
I was about to say, I feel like this is a big no for a lot
I
of
would have
drag
turned around and
queens.
been like, Mink. I would have been like, oh, sorry, girl. And it would have been right, like, instinct, like, boom. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'd be like, I forgot that this is a pageant thing. But I'd be like, girl, put my wig on my head. You crazy? Because look,
Dallas was like, I'm going to do that to her on the
On
runway.
the runway.
No. Because see, I would have been the petty one. Because she would have did that. No, because see, that would have been horrible. See, I'm not gonna say that. Because I was like, see, I'd be like, don't do that like that, girl. Especially if you're around some of the cutthroat passion girls. You go to your station and find your glasses broken in your seat, girl. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Get Nancy
Them girls be
Kerrigan.
mean.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day with pageants and stuff like that, when I talk about how cutthroat and mean the girls were doing pageants, I heard horror stories of girls putting crushed glass in girls' setting powder.
What the heck?
Yeah, they would put crushed glass in her like setting powder she used on her face. They would cut their dresses up. They would cut their wigs up when they weren't backstage or whatever. One of them that I heard was my favorite. I've never seen this happen, but I was like, ooh, if I ever see this, it's going to be amazing. Someone said that they saw someone put Kool-Aid in someone's setting powder once. And they said they went on stage and started sweating, and their face just started turning blue. And I was like,
that's awful. That is evil.
I was like, that's amazing. I'm saving that one. That's in my back pocket.
Look, Melusine would have a panic attack if she saw that.
That's
What are we doing? What are we doing?
That is so evil. Oh my God.
The pageant girls are cutthroat.
That's crazy. Yep. I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time for you to deal with it. But yeah. So we get the Maxi challenge, and it's an acting challenge, and they're going to do I guess it's some. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of
It starts with a T, I think.
trap. I can't say it. I don't want to
I
ruin
believe in
it.
you, Lana. You can do it.
No, absolutely not. I will not disrespect the Brazilian people and trying to butcher something that they say. Y'all know what it is. Look, if you don't know, we'll put it in the description. I'll make sure Logan put the description, but because I don't want to say it.
Oh, I think I know how it's pronounced.
Go ahead, then, David.
Okay, it's pronounced.
Reagan jacket.
Go ahead. Don't
You
say
didn't
it.
hear. You didn't hear.
No.
Reagan jacket.
This is not the Reagan
Reagan
coat.
jacket.
Not the
Reagan
Reagan
jacket.
jacket.
Oh no,
Reagan
That's
jacket.
not
keeps
start with a
playing.
T.
No. Not the. No, I can't.
Pagan
with it.
jacket.
Not the Reagan jacket again. Jesus Christ.
That sounds like. That sounds like you're talking about like Ronald Reagan's jacket.
Reagan jacket.
Sorry for everybody. That's a clip from Drag Race Germany, but it's my new favorite clip.
Yeah, David is obsessed with that clip right now.
Reagan jacket.
Sure.
Reagan jacket.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, but it's and so they
somebody's soccer shoes.
Yeah, soccer shoes.
That was the name of the thing.
Shoes.
It was somebody that starts with T's.
Soccer shoes. And so Dallas got to, as the winner of the mini challenge, pick her role and pick the roles for everybody else. So there we go.
Yeah, I think the only real drama that we got in picking the roles was the fact that Shannon and Naza wanted the same role. They wanted to be kind of the spoiled brat girl. But I really liked how Naza went about doing this. Before she even said what she wanted, she heard that Shannon wanted the character she wanted, and she waits. She holds on to this, and just as everybody's going around, she's like, "I think you should play the guy." And I just love how she was just trying to incept that into her. But Shannon was not a dummy, and she knew why she was saying that. But I really like that strategy. But of course, Shannon eventually bowed out of this battle and decided to take on that character. So we'll see if it works out for her.
We'll see. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. After getting everything, watching the whole episode and watching everything, I was like, these acting challenges just don't do it for me. They just don't do it. In any franchise, I've yet to see an acting challenge that does it for me. I'm like,
we're gonna have to give you some acting challenges to watch in the Lana Reacts.
oh Jesus Christ!
Because I will say this, there are a lot of the acting challenges that are bump. Okay. A lot of them are just kind of like, oh God. But there's like Daytona Wind was funny.
Right now, I already got some dissent.
Daytona Wind was funny though.
It was popular with fans for some reason.
I thought it was funny. But there were some ones in the past ones where they were like, oh, these are actually like really decently good. Like some of the musicals they've done have been like really good too. But yeah, this one was this. Okay, Brazilian Drag Race High, shout out. I don't know how much you all know about American theater, but there is a I won't even say it's a trilogy because there's a couple of more movies in it, but there is a series of movies in the United States called Scary Movies. Not as in scary movies like horror movies, but they're called Scary Movie. That's the name of them. And basically these movies are spoof collections of other scary movies. So the reason why I bring all this up is because this whole scene reminded me of Scary Movie 3 at Brenda's funeral.
It's awake.
when it was just like 80 million random things are all happening at the same time, and the body's randomly moving for some reason, and there is no real rhyme or reason or concept. And I was just kind of like, and the next thing you know, the body is alive, and it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I do want to say during the practice though, the run through, I thought it was so funny that the drag queen. Oh, you're fine. The drag queen was like literally just snacking while she was watching. And then I thought, oh, this is Shady David that came out. Then I thought, Greg would fit in well on this podcast because some of us like to snack during the podcast.
Me, Eve, we snacks because baby, sometimes it calls us for a snack, and yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta
right?
do what you gotta do.
I eat for sustenance, David. You know what? So I don't want to hear it because if I don't eat, then I die.
Right.
Very fair.
And we do not want Eve to die because
not yet anyway. I still got some shit to do.
You got things to do in this world, honey. But yeah,
but when I do, I'm haunting all you bitches. Not
not that. Just David. I ain't do that. But yeah, so they go through the I thought the practice was interesting. I think Greg and what
was her name? The judge.
Bruna.
Yeah,
I liked her.
I love her. I do really like her. And she was, I thought they were funny together. Her and Greg were funny together, what they were going through. And I don't know if they really actually gave a lot of input. They were kind of just like, no, don't do that. You might want to do that. And it was kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know. It just didn't seem like a lot was going on during that practice at all.
I think what ended up happening for me that I was noticing is it seemed like that maybe a lot of them just didn't fully realize their character, or they didn't make their characters fully realize. It was almost like they just took the description of what the character was and ran with it.
Yeah.
And so they didn't really build on the character anyway or anything. And so I felt like that a lot of the critiques that Greg and Bruno were giving the contestants were ways to improve what they were doing and stuff. But then almost at the same time, it's like, well, then you don't want to give them that because they should be coming up with that on their own. So it was like, I understand why the practice it looked a little rocky because it didn't, like when Greg was saying certain stuff about Shannon just laying there but not doing anything or not making herself funny, you know what I mean? Because the whole thing is supposed to be very slapstick, and so that's why she was like, well, I would just have my dick out, and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, but then also at the same time, you don't want to tell her that. And then of course when the thing came out, she did. And so it was kind of like, so whatever did she come up with, and what is it that she just got from what they told her? You know what I mean? So like, I feel like it was just kind of a missed opportunity for them to build on it, and unfortunately, with it being like the third episode and then doing an acting challenge, like I said, the same thing with the mini challenge. I felt like that acting challenge ran so long. I was like, every 5 seconds, a new 2 girls were walking in. I was like, how many people are on this cast? Jesus, oh my gosh. I don't think that they've ever done, because they've done acting challenges before, but I don't think they've done that many where there's only been one set and one location and every queen is all in that one spot. It always ends up seeming like they have them doing like separate scenes where they look like they're in different places. So it's like 4 people in this place and 3 people in this place and 2 people in this place. And but there hasn't really been a lot of acting challenges where it's only just one location. All 10 of the girls are all in that one. I was like, the screen looks so crammed full of people. Like it was really hard to keep track of like a lot of people. Like there were some, of course, standouts, but I understand what Greg was saying to Tristan when she was like, it can be easy for you to get lost in this crowd because some girls got lost.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. Because after they go through their rehearsal and all of that stuff, then the next day they come in to get ready for the runway and elimination day. And we do have some moments where people were talking. And again, another thing, I was like, is this deja vu? I'm feeling very deja vu-ish. Even in the conversations that were being had, seemed like we just had some of these conversations or some sort of the same sort of conversation in Germany that happened in Brazil, which also lets me know that people are not alone in these feelings and these traumas that they're going through, because so it's a lot of people out in the world dealing with the same issues or similar issues to what people are dealing with. So it was some conversation. Tristan had a conversation about being overweight and how they felt with their weight in as a drag artist and
Yeah.
as a queer person. And I'm like, wow, where did we have this conversation before?
Right.
But
And she talked about being fetishized, which
yeah.
was kind of an interesting point of view that we don't really hear a lot about on Drag Race. Just people see like, oh, this is something different. And I don't know. I could see how that would be like pretty annoying if
Mhm.
somebody's just going for your body type as like, oh, this experiment because I'm into whatever. So I could see the frustration with that.
Baby, that is the story of Black people in the queer
Mhm.
community. Down. Oh
Black
my
people
God.
in general, people.
Not even in the queer community, yes, just Black people in general. I will never forget my little brother had messed around with this girl. This was maybe like 10, gosh, God, so I was in high school, so this said to be at least like 15 years ago. And he was dating this girl and had sex with the girl and everything, and then like afterwards she immediately broke up with him, and he didn't know why or anything like that, and she literally flat out told him, oh, I just wanted to see what it was like having sex with a Black person.
Mhm. I had a boy do that to me too.
And it's just things where I'm just kind of like, what? And the boldness that people will have behind it too, where it's like, no, it's okay that I'm just looking at you as an object and not a person. That's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I didn't have sex with the dude because I'm smarter than that. But I knew he only wanted to be with me because I was Black, and in that moment, and piss off his parents, if that makes sense. So yep. So I was that. That's just that fetishes are something that could be weird, but it could be good the way you do it. But that for fetishing over somebody's body and or their race or whatever, just something that's just them, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird.
And the thing is that there are people out there that think and that see sexual fetishization of someone's race or someone's type or how someone presents almost as an opposite to discrimination.
Yep.
They see it as a mirror opposite. Like, I'm doing the complete opposite of only not liking you because of this. I only like you because of this. Like, but that doesn't make it better.
No.
Right.
They're still both on the same level of ick. You know what I mean?
It's very ick.
I don't think people should be fetishists. Like, there's so many fetishes to choose from.
Right.
Don't pick people because you know what? They're probably not in on it. Fetishes should be like a shared experience with somebody else. If you're going to do that, it shouldn't be a one-way thing. So don't pick.
I would rather do I would rather be obsessed with every single item that people were obsessed with on the TLC TV show My Strange Obsessions before I fetishize a person.
Oh, a person. Yeah.
Right.
I still will never forget that one girl who ate deodorant sticks.
Yes,
I would eat deodorant
sticks. Goodness.
I saw that too. I was like, oh, gross.
I did not.
Yeah, people
yes, it was the white solid ones. She would
the big ones.
Just chew those jokers. And she ate she would eat between 5 to 10 a week.
I
mean, at least it's not like body spray.
But it's still talcum and minerals and stuff. I was just like, oh, her stomach and everything must be
a mess. But then we had more conversations happen. Anybody want to talk about the?
Yeah, we briefly got Ruby talking about finding confidence. Like she's had issues with confidence, and like I like hearing stories like this from somebody who seems so confident. Like I never would have thought that about Ruby, but it just makes her more relatable. And she talked about how finding drag really brought out her confidence. So I thought that was a positive story that we got out of this whole workroom discussion. That part was pretty brief, and things definitely got heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hellena chose to disclose that she is HIV positive, and that when it came to dating and relationships and things like that, like Lana said, it very much mirrors a lot of what was happening on Drag Race Germany and a lot of what we were talking about on Drag Race Germany. Just basically saying like young queer people do not have set in stone instructions or guides when it comes to navigating sex or navigating love or romance as young queer people under the age of 21. We don't really have a lot of guides. And the thing is, as well, too, we're also told to be very suspect and to be very knowledgeable of people that may be way older than us that are trying to teach us those things, because that could easily be something that leads itself into grooming. You know what I mean? So like, it's weird. You're in a position as a young queer person where you're getting a lot of people looking at you and a lot of people throwing things your way, because in the queer community, you're young, you're hot, you know what I mean? You're naive and fresh about life. Those things for a lot of predators and a lot of people that want to take advantage of people are like green flags for them of easy targets, you know? And so she admitted that she was doing a lot of irresponsible things and ended up contracting HIV, and she felt horrible about that and was in a mental state where she felt like that she was not going to find love anymore. She was not good enough anymore. She was a damaged goods. She said that was why she named herself her name, Hellena Maldita, as what did that stand for? I guess it was like
Curse.
the curse. And so she said like that's why she named herself that. And that was so for me, it was so relatable. I feel like that I also went through a bit of a phase of that as well. I did state on our Drag Race Germany episode that I am HIV positive, and I have been HIV positive for about 15 years now. And so I do feel like I understand where she is coming from and where she came from in that retrospect, especially when you think of just as much as 10 to 15 years ago, or in that time period, people who did have HIV were 150% looked at like they were a curse. Mm-hmm. Or if you said that you were HIV positive on any dating app or any dating website, you were automatically blocked. Or you had people messaging you and telling you were diseased, or that you should die, or that this, that, and the other. And the thing is with education, that's gotten so much better, and with people's awareness and people's receptiveness to tell the story of HIV positive people, and what that means. I feel like that's helped a lot. A lot of education has helped a lot with people being able to grow with their mindsets. But you still have people that act that way. You still have people on apps say they're only looking for clean people because people that are HIV are presumed to be dirty. And so it was a very strong cathartic moment for her, because going through all of that, she was able to find somebody, her partner, who loves her and who sees who she is as a person and does not look at her having HIV as a negative or as something that she should feel bad about. And we all need somebody like that in our lives to be able to kind of help us and to remind us of who we are and remind us that we're more than just a disease or what people may think of us as. And so I want to send all of my love out to her, and anyone that may be dealing with coming to terms with living with HIV. If you were newly diagnosed, if you're someone who had been diagnosed before and it's still hard for you to deal with, I am out here for you. There are people out here for you that have HIV, that are living with HIV, that know people that are living with HIV, or that are in contact or connection with people with HIV, that I feel like they can help just by lending an ear and letting you know that you're not alone and that nothing is wrong with you and that you still are an amazing person with an amazing life ahead of you.
Right. And I kind of want to bring a different perspective from this and be pretty vulnerable and open about my history with seeing people who had HIV. So I didn't start coming out till about 10 years ago. And so the idea of contracting HIV to me was the scariest thing because I'm like, well, that's it. That's the end of my life if I get HIV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm undateable. I no more relationships at all. And even for me, if I knew somebody had HIV, I could be friendly with them, I could be cordial with them, but there was a barrier. I would never be with them sexually because I didn't want to risk anything. Even if they told me, "Oh, I'm undetectable." Okay, I don't know what that means. Undetectable, that means they can't find it, but it's still there. It's still there. So
Right.
you're undetectable. It's still there. I can still get it. So no, I'm not going to go down there. And it's just ignorance. It's ignorance. And if I'm being honest, these conversations on Drag Race are what changed my perspective. As I see people open up about these on Drag Race, it's really brought to light the meaning of undetectable. That means untransmittable. And I think the biggest step for me was a couple years ago watching Charity Case talk about it in Drag Race UK. And I'm like, this should not be an issue for me. And that's when I decided to get on PrEP as an additional like cautionary practice there. But I absolutely am at a place where I would have no problems dating or being intimate with somebody who has HIV. And really, that's where we should all be. Like, it's something that like we've come so far. Science has done miracles for this. It's not a death sentence, and so we shouldn't view people that way at all.
Very true. Very true. And it, like you said, there's people out there who can help. So we will do what we can here on the cup to make sure that if you need to reach out to something or someone or a specific place, that we'll be able to put the links or and numbers down below in our description. So check that out if you feel like you need someone to talk to. We're here for you. We love you. You HIV is not a death sentence. It is not a way to end your life does not end because of it. You have a lot of life to live and a lot of love to give and receive. Period. So
Her.
we got you here on the cup. Now, I will say this about Brazil. They did something that I was like, thank you, and thank you. Because usually, right after trauma moments like this, where everybody's sad and crying, we go right into the music that I love so much. But this time, they did not do that. And I was so grateful because they switched right over to Organzza and Shannon having a very lighthearted conversation about what they getting ready to do on this runway and it was very lighthearted and it was like a good segue transition moment from crying to being like, okay, taking a breath, let's laugh about it, and then we jump into
This it's so funny because that's like, oh gosh, Lana, don't be mad at me. But like that's how it honestly like used to be back in the day.
really, that's how
That's
I
how it
wanted
used
to
to be in
be.
like the old seasons. It's like they would do that. They would have like a hurtful moment or something, and then after sort of like, okay, girl, let's wipe these tears, girl, because we're not gonna be able to serve on this runway without it. And they would all giggle and laugh, and then it would go into the thing. Like usually there was like a little mini wrap up before they went into it. So I was like, dang, I hate you missed that.
I hate that too because I always get it's trauma season and then we go right into bum
Boom into the
bum bum.
runway,
And I'm
yeah.
like, this is very hard. Oh no, I don't like this one at
You're still
all.
crying, trying to see who's coming down the runway. Like,
Right.
what?
There we go.
Yeah, I don't like that one at all. But yeah, so I was like, I would love to just not be crying Oh, I don't like that one either. Hold on. Miss Two. Mm-mm. I don't know which the one Logan always does because I don't like that one either. That's better, I guess. I guess. But yeah, so we're gonna go into the runway because that's what came first. So the runway. And the category is Brazilian top models. And yeah. So Logan made this. Thank you, Logan. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Logan.
So I don't really know what the order is. So we're just I think it's the order of the runway though. I think it's the order of the runway. So first is Shannon.
Shannon Skarllet, who was supposed to be
Adriana Lima? No, that's not Adriana
No,
Lima.
that's not Adriana Lima.
That's not Adriana Lima. I forgot who she's supposed to
We
be.
should not even guess.
I shouldn't, but I don't remember who. I heard her say it, but I don't remember. But here's the look. Here's what original looks like, and that's Shannon on this side. So Eve, we'll start with you.
Chop.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I completely understand where you're coming from, and I mean, hey, you look exactly like the girl, but for some reason, you're giving me like this is what I ordered and this is what I got. Because what I got looks like the wings were damaged in shipping. They were kind of crooked. They were a little off. And then I feel like the downside about this is that a lot of these girls, not even a lot, I'll say a good couple of these girls took the top model aspect and went straight to Victoria's Secret. And so they just had a lot of them walking around with big looking wings and like little to no clothes. And I was like, I wish I would have picked some other runway models or some other looks that had you wearing like actual designs, because it's like you're just wearing a little top and some black panties. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, it is what the model was wearing, but I'm just like, I wish you were wearing, you're a drag queen. I want you to be wearing more than that. You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved it if her wings were looking like hers, but twice as big, you know, or something like that. Just something where it wasn't so literal of an interpretation. It was a more drag interpretation of what that model was wearing.
Mm-hmm. David.
Yeah, I agree. I always like to see things dragged up a bit. So when she came out, I was kind of disappointed. I wouldn't say it's a chop for me. Like it was fine. It was good enough, but I definitely wanted more. And I will say her wig looks better in this picture than I remembered. Because I
went
made
crazy
no,
about the wig when I saw it on
I did not like it walking down the runway. It was not my favorite wig from her. It just felt a little too simple. And I don't know, something with the wings could have been a lot better, and I think that would have made a difference. I still probably wouldn't have loved it, but I think I just have pretty high expectations for her after last week's episode, and she didn't live up to it with this.
Yeah, I had a problem with the wings. I was like, these wings look very crunchy, choppy, like she just, I don't know. It's like they got damaged in the travel, and she didn't know how to fix it. It was very simple. It was simple. I don't hate it. Like I ain't chopping it, but I'm not like fawning all over it either.
I'll tell you this though, Miss Shannon seems like one of them kind of girls where she knows that her poop smells like jasmine and ylang ylang and sumac and all other kinds of trees and herbs. And you can't tell her nothing about herself, because the way she was sitting in the back of that workroom and she was mad she was safe for this.
Mad, baby.
I said, child, I would have put you in the bottom. And she was just so taken aback. You can't tell me that I'm safe. You see this body? You see this wig? You see these wings? I was like,
we do.
I was like, the drag delusion has made it over to Brazil, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm about to say, we do see all of that. That is why you lucky you safe, because we see
all
of that. We see all of that. But yeah, scores, Steve.
Because of the accuracy, I'm going to give it a 75. I would give it a higher score if it had more drag elements to it, though.
I gave this a 64.
I'm going to give it a 70. Next
Eve was the highest?
Yeah.
Right.
Aquarela. I believe this is what Eve was talking about when somebody had a similar color figure. It'll work, but I mean, I don't. See, this is.
This is very what I ordered versus what I bought, what I got.
Right.
It's very,
yeah.
It's very the Wish version.
But see, here's the thing, though, and this might be unpopular I get, like, we want them to not be a literal interpretation, and she didn't give us a literal interpretation of this dress, the original dress. She gave us a dress. Now, is it great? No, but anyway, but she tried to do something different to make it, I guess, drag it up a little bit, maybe.
I feel like the difference is almost turned it into a completely different outfit.
Different dress.
That's how I feel. I feel like that the difference is almost turned it, like, if you would have had the part come up as a turtleneck, cool. But then I don't think you would have needed to have it continue down as pants. I think you could have still had it cut as a skirt, like she had hers cut as a skirt. And I also think that the color and the fabric of the two are just very different, to the point where if you wouldn't have given me this as a reference photo, I wouldn't have known that the two were supposed to be related.
Right.
And love her to death, but her makeup does nothing for this look. Her style of makeup does nothing for this look whatsoever. It completely takes me out of it.
Yeah. I don't mind if it looks very similar to the look or very different from the look. But I just want it to look good. And to me, this does not look good. Like, this would be something I would see at a local bar and be like, oh, okay, you made this? Okay.
It almost gives me, if they gave them the reference outfits and it was a design challenge and told them to make variations of it. And this is what she made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to get ahead of myself, but one person was put in the bottom specifically for their runway look, even though they did really well in the acting challenge. And that is crazy to me after looking at this, because this is way worse than what that other person wore.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite of the night. And I do love her. I love Aquarela. And I'm rooting for her, but I'm rooting for her to do well. I'm not rooting for her to just skate by on really bad looks.
Yeah. I need her to do better. I have her on my team. I really need her to do better. So, scores.
That's a 50, baby.
It is a 29 for me.
It's a 40.
I'm highest again. I think that this is screwing me. I gotta pick something super. I gotta be like $1. Can't beat me no more. This ain't Price is Right.
I was about to say, baby, no, because we're about to get into it with this one. This is Dallas DeVille.
Dallas gonna get $1.
I'm about to get the lowest for this one, because I think I hate this one more than I hate the other one.
This was bad in so many ways. The wig was horrible.
Oh.
Her makeup was not like. It was, her makeup wasn't that bad, but yet somehow she still looked animatronic. And then she looked like she just wore a regular corset she put some stuff on the side of. The wings, somebody shot that butterfly right out the sky, child. Like,
and she was so happy she made the wings herself.
Those wings look like 2 autumn leaves on her back. And then everything from the hip on down all looks the same color. It's an absolute chop. That wig is horrible. Yeah. Oh, that wig is horrible. That wig is horrible. That wig. God. It looks like one of those Halloween wigs with the hard part in the middle. This is bad. And the way she's sitting there just looking like, yeah, bitch, you know the wig look bad too. Like, y'all know this wig bad.
Yeah. So seeing them side by side, it's almost giving me like You know those memes of the horse that just gets like worse as it goes along? Like it starts out a detailed horse and then it becomes like this awful drawing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of getting that. We start out with this like really good look here on the right, and then we just get like this terrible version of it on the left. And I'll be honest, like after seeing like the first 3, I was very worried. I
Scared.
was literally like, this is going to be the worst
I was like,
category
everybody.
in Drag Race history.
I was like, everybody gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
It gets better. It
It
gets
gets
better.
better. It's up and down.
I felt that way though as well too, because like I said, I felt like I saw so many girls that were doing Victoria's Secret versions of these looks, and they were just bad versions of them. And I was like, wait, no, is everybody gonna come out with crappy wings on? Like
Right. And I hate to agree with Dudu because he's not my favorite, but the very first thing I notice is, why do you have something widening your corset?
Right.
That is like the opposite of what you should do. And it actually kind of works on the original model. Like, I don't know. It's not positioned the same way.
Because
yeah,
they,
it's because the way that Diva did it, I mean not Diva, the way that Dallas did it is she did it all the way up and down both sides.
Mhm.
And it looks like with the other girl, she still left a portion at the top
yep.
of it just being corset, and she focused it more along the bottom
Yeah.
half of it, so it almost made it look like a peplum kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so you see her like right under her boobs and her top and everything, it still has that snatched waist kind of look to it, and then it has all the stuff on the bottom. And with Dallas's, she did it all the way up her entire sides, so it was just, she just looked like one block.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the wig goes, yeah, the wig is not good.
Oh,
But
I hate that wig.
I think the real issue here is that Dallas has kind of, and I don't mean this as shade to Dallas, because Dallas is a lovely person, but she does not have, above her brows, she does not have a very tall head. So if she's going to have a very flat wig like this, it makes her head look so small. So she needs some volume on top, because like it literally just looks like she should have a head that extends a bit further, but it does not. So this is not a flattering wig on her. I still really like Dallas,
and
but
she's
yeah,
on your team.
this look was not it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
girl.
Dallas,
And I think I'm changing my mind. I think this is my least favorite.
It's so bad. It's not good at all. I'm sorry. It just the wig with the makeup make her, like you said, make her hair look small, and then the makeup make her face look smushed in. It's like she got that small lip, and this is like this. Her eyes are tiny, so it looks like very pushed in, and then it was just bad. It's definitely the Chanel versus Walmart meme with this look.
Shit.
It's bad. It's bad. So unfortunately, Dallas scores Eve.
10.
David.
20.
I'm pleading.
Ooh.
I can't stand this look.
Well, at least I'm not the lowest.
No, I'll take the crown this time. Up next, we have Miss Naza.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you this. I like her wings.
Mm-hmm.
I understand when I saw her and I saw the picture, I was like, I can understand the reference. What I did not care for was, Lana, you already know.
Mm-hmm.
She got one of them beauty supply bodysuits on.
Yep.
That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. I said, child, they have those little jokers sitting over there next to the bonnets and the hair grease and the do-rags and stuff and the stockings and the lace stockings and stuff that all tear the crap apart. They ain't got no good colors. That packet had $11.99 on it. You didn't even stone it.
Right.
Or nothing. You just wore it right out the pack. I bet you money the wings cost more than I bet you money everything she has on individually costs more than that bodysuit that she has on. And I hate it because it looks almost like that. Yeah. I really wish it was something that was a little bit more closer to what Adriana was wearing. And it was honestly something that was like some kind of black vinyl something. Like, I wish she actually had black boots on, not what looks like printed stockings. You know what I mean? Like, I wish she had an actual black bra on and not just that decoration that's on the top of the bodysuit. You know, I wish she actually had a black panty on. Like, yeah, I hate that was just the bodysuit, because it gives off the effect of having all the lines and everything like Adriana's does, but it looks like a very cheap version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Naza came out, I was like, oh, okay, finally. And she starts walking, and then they pop up the picture of the original, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not as good. It's not as good.
Not even close to good.
Like, if I'm being honest, I almost wish they didn't show the originals, because
if they wouldn't have, I kind of would have let some of that go.
Yeah, it's just in comparison, like, pretty much everybody just didn't live up to the original. I will say, there's one girl, we'll get to it. There's one girl that I might like hers better, but it looks nothing like the original.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. But I still like this. It's fine. It's fine. I like this, especially compared to a lot of the other people too.
Yeah. I just wish she would have did the vinyl part of it all, because I think that's what makes this looks really cool, is the vinyl part of it all. So put the vinyl bra on and a vinyl panty and a vinyl boot. Even if you don't have the boot that has all those straps, that's fine. Get a smaller boot and you have that thing underneath it, so it shows the line going up. So it can still be that. You just need to, it should still need some vinyl on it, because I think that's what makes the look cool. Because I feel like if Adriana didn't have that vinyl on it and it was like that, a bodysuit, we'd be saying that looks just like that and it don't look good. It's missing something. But the vinyl adds to it and it makes it.
And I think for me, the main thing when it comes to what it adds to it is, with those lace bodysuits, they're thin.
Yes.
And the thing is you can tell she's wearing that lace bodysuit over tights and everything that is her skin tone. So it doesn't even make the bodysuit look as dark and deep and black as like it needs to look to translate like how the other picture does. It looks sheer, like you're wearing pantyhose. You know what I mean? Like it looks like you're wearing an outfit made out of fishnets.
Yes.
The contrast on the actual model, like that black just pops and it just fades on Naza.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was
that's
like
it
we needed to punch harder with that black, and that would have sent it. But it wasn't horrible, but it was a cheaper version.
Yeah. So scores.
I'll give Naza 75. Get you some black pleather in your wardrobe, girl, because I swear it will get you through.
Maybe I'm being generous. I gave her 77.
I mean, I will match the 75. Actually, I'm not mad at it.
No, it was still one of the better ones.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Up next is Hellena
Maldita. This is very loosely interpreted by, but I'm not mad. I feel like that this could possibly be in the same, like, let's say if this was a fashion runway, I feel like this could be in the same collection, but I wouldn't see these two and think they were the same outfit. You know what I mean? But everything about, I loved it. Her hair, her mug, baby. Woo, she is pretty. Woo, she is pretty. And knows how to hit her angles. She was giving for me. It was very much one of those where it's like, I don't even need to know what Brazilian model you're supposed to be. You look like a Brazilian model. Check. Done.
Yeah, this was the one I was alluding to.
I knew it.
I think I like this better than the original.
I do too.
And this is how you drag it up. Like she took a very loose inspiration from this, and she's like, okay, how do I make it my own? How do I make it draggy? How do I make it runway ready? And she did all of that very, very well. Like this is so good. I love this pink on her. And sometimes it's hard to have like this big structure in front that's a hard structure. It's bulky. That could easily flop. It didn't flop for me. I really like this. This is one of the three standouts for me of the night. This is the first of the three that we've talked about. So yeah, I really like this.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, when she walked out, I was like, okay. And then when they put the picture up, I was like, oh, okay. So it's not exactly like it, which I'm very happy about. It's her own interpretation, but still giving her like this pink is her. This I just like the way it's sitting on her and it's fitting on her. I love that she was like, I'm not gonna do a full skirt because it's more that dress is more like hobo chic, but she gave us structure and body, and I kind of love that. She ate with this one. I ain't mad at this one at all.
I loved my favorite part was when she made it to the end of the runway and she turned and angled her body so precisely where she's just leaning back and showing off her face and her jawline. And then the way that the front of the thing is angled just this way, so it's like they're just opposite each other. So it's like nothing in the front of her thing was blocking her face. She turned it right to the perfect position to be like up, and you see all this face behind here. And I was like, we sure do. We sure do. You know your angles. I live.
She works. Scores.
Honestly, I would say my cup was full with hers. I liked it. And to be honest, too, when it came to the challenge, she was painted down in the challenge. I felt like that her mug in the challenge was insane too. I'm really liking her makeup.
Yeah, I gave this an 83.
I'm siding with Eve. I was full with this one. I kind of really like this one. This was one of my favorites. I was like, yep.
Look at my face. She gave.
She ate, she left no crumbs. And then next is Melusine Sparkle.
2 steps forward, 2 steps
back.
Well, actually, I mean, track record wise, she really hasn't had any good runaways. So this is kind of like 4 steps back.
Well, I meant 2 steps forward from the previous girls that we talked about. It was going uphill and then back down.
2 steps back. 2 steps forward. We take 2 steps back.
It was just.
It was boring. It was boring. I am just gonna put it out there. I was bored.
I think that's what it is. It's just. It wasn't exciting. It was like, I'm gonna pick the most random nondescript girl wearing the most random nondescript outfit, and we were just like, okay,
all right. she was just all right. Like, and I mean, it was boring. But then, even if you go do boring, give me and you go do this just dress. It wasn't even cute compared to the dress of the original. Like, it ain't even. If you go give me a boring look, at least make it like boring because it looks exactly like the other. Right. It's just not. I'm bored. Okay, I'm done.
Yep. I just put in my notes: basic. Like, and the thing is, like, we looked at her Instagram, and she's got such a like cute style. Like, there's no excuse for her not taking one of these looks and just adding her style to it. Like, she could have been one of the winners on the runway tonight if she had just add a little bit of Melusine in it.
It doesn't even look like it fits her well.
Right. Like she borrowed the dress.
Yeah.
Like, I need a sparkly dress because this is who I want to be.
It looks too big for her. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah. Scores.
40.
I'll give her 49.
And I'll just give her 50 because it was perfectly safe. Next is Tristan Soledade.
Once again, another what you bought and what you got. This is very much giving me, I would be writing somebody an angry ass letter if I wanted to buy the suit jacket on the right and I got the mini Dracula cape on the left. Girl, no. And the boots with them, the shoes. Are you a pirate? Are pirates in this season? No. I don't like any of this. I don't at all. She looks like she's going to a witch concert or something. I don't know.
Okay, here's gonna be my hot take. I actually like this. Is it as good as the original? No. But is it something different than what everybody else is doing? Yeah. I was actually kind of excited by this. I feel like Tristan is refreshing on this runway. She brought something that I did not expect to see for many of the girls, but it still works for her. For me, I don't mind the boots personally, and even this is a dragged up version of it too. Like she made it bigger, she made it her style. Um, I wasn't mad. It's not the
Okay.
most amazing thing, but I wasn't mad.
I'm not a fan of the boots, but I didn't hate the look because I felt like this is Tristan. This was Tristan, her drag, her aesthetic. She took this jacket and made it into more, like you said, Dracula cape, darker side, which is what she does as a artist. And so I felt like she was taking it and making it her, but still giving what the theme was. I don't like the boot. I think she could have did a different, like, if, or don't make it slouch, like give us a a tall boot so it looks like it could have been the pants, but not really the pants. So, and then it would
It's
have
a
made it
scrunch boot. It's a
right.
brown scrunch boot.
Right, the
Is
scrunch
it brown?
is brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brown scrunch boot. And I'm like, I don't like the boot with that. I think, and I feel like she should have done a little bit like something else with the wig. Like, give us a bigger wig to take away from the fact that you don't that this it's the dark. Like, I don't know. I felt like it needed just a little bit more with the accessories and the making of it. But I don't hate the jacket. I think the jacket and it's her taking the theme and making it her. So I didn't hate it, but some technical things needed to be done to make it better. Scores.
Well, it's still giving me Star Trek villain up top. It's not horrible, but it's still giving me a little bit of that. But I gotta cut you some points off for the pumpkin spice latte boots. So it's a 65 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gave it a 75.
I'm gonna give it a 70.
Quack.
Right there.
Wait a
Next,
minute.
Miss Betina Polaroid.
Betina Polaroid said she was supposed to be Giselle Bundchen.
Bundchen.
Baby, she looked like Giselle Lullaby.
That's a compliment, right?
She looked 350% like Giselle Lullaby.
I can see that actually.
Like,
Giselle Lullaby was on Canada's Drag Race winner.
she was the last winner.
Okay.
But yeah, she looks 100% like her. I was like, huh. But I will give her benefit of the doubt for the fact that even though her outfit is simple, it still looks a bit true to form to what the original is supposed to be. It's not a complete spot on recreation, but it doesn't look like it's like a cheap secondary version of it. It looks like it's a pretty decent looking gown. It's just not, amazing or extravagant or anything, but it's still fitting the assignment, right? And the hair isn't the same, but the hair on Betina wasn't bad.
No.
I wasn't mad at Betina's hair. So like it wasn't, I'd say I wouldn't have put Betina in the bottom based off of some of the other people who they did put in the bottom. I would put Betina safe.
Right. Yeah, so this probably the closest comparison I can get is Melusine on the runway tonight. Like we saw two fairly simple gowns and recreations of those. I think this works quite a bit better than Melusine. It's still not amazing. It doesn't wow me, but it works, and I see it as a closer comparison. My only thing is I wanted a little bit more shape from her on this. Like just widen out those hips, and it could have been decent.
Yeah.
I mean it still was decent, but
it could have been a high safe.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't think she deserved to be at the bottom. I was like, I don't agree with that at all, especially due to her runway and her performance. I was like, absolutely not. She don't need to be at the bottom.
But Aquarela safe and put her in the bottom.
Right. And I'm like, and then we had who was that after her? Shoot. I forgot. Never mind. But this should have been safe. because I think the dress is, even though it's not spot on, but it's still a very good replica. If you put that in somebody's a discount shop, somebody would love that and they would wear that. Because it's like I can't afford the look that Giselle had, but this is a very close replica of that look, and they'll be very happy with that gown. I think she looks fine. I didn't
That's
see
what the
anything
downside with a
wrong.
lot of the other girls trying to recreate other people's stuff. It's like the recreation isn't the best, but even if it is the best, what you recreated just looks cheap. You know what I mean? This doesn't look cheap. So
No, it doesn't.
Right.
It looks good. I like it. I thought she did very well, and I didn't think she deserved to be at the bottom. I thought she was perfectly safe, and like I said, a high safe, actually, if you really want to be honest. I think she did really well. But scores.
I would give Betina 78. Actually, 79.
Okay. I gave her a 69.
Nice. I'm going to give her an 80, actually.
Work.
I thought she did well.
Come through, Betina.
Now we have Miss Rubi Ocean. And
Ruby, I love you.
Mm.
But there are parts of this that I don't care for a lot. I think the main parts I don't care for are the pasties and the hair. The hair was very, very problematic for me. And I think it's because of the fact that the hair that the model originally wore looked like it was kind of just done kind of in a bun or whatever. And Ruby has what looks like this just super long hair that's inside of her jacket. And that's just really throwing me off for some reason. I'm like, why do you have that super long hair and it's all stuffed in the back of your coat? Like, it was like she just didn't even need to wear long hair. She could have just wore something shorter. You know what I mean? Or if she wore the long hair, just actually wear it out where it's like falling down her back or something. But it looked like it looks like, you know how sometimes you'll like put on a shirt or something like that and it'll mess your hair up or it'll catch half of your hair or something and you don't adjust it. That's what this looks like. So it was like, it wasn't bad, but it left stuff to be desired from my fashion queen. So I was
that's fair. Yeah, it definitely pales in comparison to the original. I'm gonna check my bias here in real time because I think I have some goggles on for Ruby and that she's just such a model on the runway. And so she can take something subpar and just make it work for me. And I hate to say it, but this kind of worked for me. Like, I didn't love it, but she sold it for me. Just her walk and just her demeanor and her height and just every little model essence that she has just made this kind of work for me. I don't know. But yeah, I do see the flaws and the awkward big pasties.
I did live for when she was in the back though, and she said, "Oh, if next week's a design challenge, it's over for y'all." I said, "Yes, Ruby, let's go."
I hope so.
Ruby said, "Look here, I am going to slay this design challenge next week if it's one, and don't look at these oversized pasties right now because this isn't going to be what I do. This is what a designer who made this for me did. But when I make mine, baby, like." Okay, but this look, it's alright. I wish he would have did the ruffle in the shawl like the original, and it was more of a, I don't know, it was just too loose. I wanted to fit more.
It's a different fabric.
Well, different fabric, right? It just
than what she used for the original coat. It looks like it's a cheaper fabric, like a thinner fabric.
Yeah, and I wish the fabric that she wore was at the bottom. The tulle was that thin. Like, I feel like this is a little thicker see-through fabric. I wish it was just thinner so it looked like that one on the other one. But we can't always get the fabrics that the supermodels wear, and we can't always afford that. And so I'm not gonna fault these girls for not being able to have a budget of a supermodel because we ain't there yet. So
True. There, I think that what I've noticed with a lot of these looks is that these girls are like picking really good runway looks that have like really specific details to them, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do this. But that part's too hard, so we're gonna simplify it. We're
Right,
gonna
we're gonna
simplify
we're gonna
it.
make it simple for me because I can't do these ruffles. So I'm just gonna make
Yeah.
a shawl and then stick it around and make it
Yeah.
work. I get it.
Some
I
corners have been
understand.
cut.
Right.
Corners have
Mhm.
been cut.
We don't all have the supermodel budget with the supermodel designers on hand to make our outfits. So
True.
understood, Ruby, but you still look pretty. And you're pretty. And that's what it is.
Her.
Scores, Eve.
As said famously by the brew girl from Laguna, Jiggly Caliente, Beyonce don't be stowing her own shit.
Mm. Period.
Her mom does, but it's okay.
Period.
Come on, Tina.
All right.
Ruby, my girl, I'm gonna give you 80. I'm gonna give you 80 because I know where you're going with it. You still gave me runway and fashion on the runway. I just feel like that I could have saw a little bit better of a version of this, but I'm not faulting you for it. And I still feel like you're gonna clear. So yeah.
Yeah. You still look pretty to me. My love goggles are on. I gave you a 71.
not the love goggles. I will give this a 70. I think it's fine. It's not a horrible rendition of what we see in the original. So that's fine. Perm. Up next we have Miss Miranda.
Now, Miss Miranda,
Mm.
you were somebody for real for a quick second when you came around that corner. I said, okay, now the girls are now doing what the hell they're supposed to be doing. If you're going to give me Victoria's Secret fashion model, I want to see Victoria's Secret. The best wings out of anybody we saw with wings. But it did gag me once we started paying attention to the bodysuit. I don't know who made that bodysuit, but they decided that you were not born of a man or woman on this earth. They decided that you were a deity placed inside the Garden of Eden with no belly button. And they kept making fun of it. It was so funny. I didn't even notice until she said it. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. The bodysuit didn't do you a lot of favors, sadly, because it was like it was supposed to come off and be your skin, but it didn't fit the best. So there were just, it looked like you had wrinkly skin in spots, like around your arms and stuff. Was bad. But the wings, for me, best wings out of anybody that tried to do a Victoria's Secret model on the runway. Loved them. Yeah. I thought she almost was going to win this week with this look, to be honest with you. I was like, wait, they might get this one to her.
Yeah, I feel like she went the most ambitious, which I really appreciate. She went for drag. She went for a spectacle. And yeah, I was kind of wowed when she first came out. The more they talked about it, the more I noticed the bodysuit. But really, it did not hinder the look for me while I was watching it in the moment. I was just soaking it in. And once again, I mentioned Hellena was one of my top 3 looks of this week. This is my other one of my other ones in my top 3. I think this was a clear standout. She looks great.
I like this look. I wanted it to be more pink though. When I wanted the panty to be pinker, like a really prominent pink, and I wanted her boots to be pink, like Adriana's, the pink on the original. Because I feel like with that bodysuit, it was drowns out.
It's like the bodysuit looks like a pearlized pink,
right? And it just drowns her out. It just like makes everything look. She just looks one note, and I wanted that pop of color. The red was giving me a little pop of color, but I wanted the pop of color at the bottom because it looks like red up here and then all like pale down, like it's naked pale of just nothing down it. Like she ain't wearing nothing.
Lana, I found your new drag king name, Papa Color.
Okay.
Papa
Color. Period. POC. Period. Me. Papa Color.
Yeah.
I will take it. I will live for that. I will take
but
that.
But it's Papa.
I know what you mean.
Okay. Just making sure.
Color. I know what you mean. I'm just taking it to POC because I want it to be POC. I mean, because you can take it either way. But yeah, I love that. But yeah, I want it to be more. I wanted more color down at the bottom because she looks like red here and then nothing down there. So that would be my only thing. But I think this was I would love her wings were the best. I agree. But yeah,
Yeah.
scores.
Yeah. I would give her an 85. I would say she was probably the best one. You know what? I'm lying. I'm not going to say she was the best one that was giving us a Victoria's Secret model type look, but one of the best. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I gave her an 82.
I would give her an 85. Word. And last but definitely not least, we have Ms. Organzza.
Oh my God.
Organzza. And
The one who I
baby.
think did the best variation of a Victoria's Secret model, because it gave in a way where I have seen Victoria's Secret fashion show runways where they've had them wear back pieces that are 300 strips of organza in all different colors, and it moved just like that. That was the main thing for me. Why? Is because I was like, you could easily look at it and be like, well, it doesn't fully look like the recreation photo, But if you've seen Victoria's Secret model fashion shows before, that's what they have them wear. It might be a foot or two higher on them, but it's still to that amount of detail, you know? And the way that she walked like could nobody tell her nothing. Nothing, baby. Walking, turn to take that face, baby. And she does what I love what girls would do when they walk and they go from one side to the other. They hold that one leg in the air before they put it down. Like, now I'm gonna start walking. I was like, you better. She cleared. She cleared. She's one to watch.
She stumped. She stumped.
Yeah, I agree.
Hair looked gorgeous on her. Mug looked gorgeous. Her skin looked gorgeous. Like the color on her, all of that honey. She just looks like this one big honey-colored dream. Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is the second week in a row where she's just kind of dominating on the runway. She looks so good, and I just love how this flowed. This look actually reminded me of something we've seen in a design challenge on Drag Race before. A look that should have won a design challenge in season 2 of Drag Race US. It was Kylie Sonique's curtain look. You know what I'm talking about, Eve? It kind of gave me that, which I love that look. It's a beautiful, I actually have it pulled up. I don't know if we can see it.
Oh, no.
Probably not.
No. Wait, it's coming.
There it is. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kylie did a good job. It was this almost badass tribal looking. She had a staff. Ooh.
But yeah, Organzza ate this. This was my other, my top 3 looks of the night. So good. Not much needs to be said.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I'm thinking she did better than the original for me, because I was like that. It's less golden than the other, but I just feel like the way she modeled it, the scarf, the hair, it just dripped of honey, like you said, honey. It just gold. It was so pretty.
She not only wanted us to make sure that we remember that her name is Organzza by making her back piece out of 300 individual organza strips. But did you notice that my girl made a do-rag out of organza? And was wearing,
I'm telling you, black
the way that head wrap with the hair and her face, if it didn't give me Mariah Carey's Honey video, I was like, it was giving me 90s girl.
Yes.
Ooh. I was like, oh, this is what you're gonna do. You're just going to eat these girls up every week. Okay. I just want to make sure I know where I'm set up for it. I just want to know what I'm expecting.
Perfect. And she stomped that.
Best walk out of anybody. Nobody outwalked her.
Like,
nobody.
This was if this was Brazilian's Next Top Model, she slayed the runway and she stomped. Like, you were not going to outwalk her. Nobody was going to. I don't care how much practice you got, you were not going to outwalk this girl. And she ate it up.
She was the one person out of everybody there that acted like she was actually on America's Next Top Model. Half the mother folks came out, was like, hey, I'm having fun. Ooh, I look a little sexy. She came out like, whoosh. stomp, stomp,
Bop,
stomp,
bop.
stomp. Like she was
Right.
like, no, I'm on a mission. And I was like, I'm here for it.
I'm here
so
for
here
it.
for it.
She gave scores. Yeah. For me.
I don't know if you have that banner or not. Well, there's two banners actually.
Okay, hold on.
I would love to say that she did what needed to be done.
Let me get to that one because for sure she did that.
She did what needed to be done. She did what she needed to be done.
There it is.
She did what needed to be done. And I think that I officially want to use a new term that you all just came up with.
Oh?
I'm going to say that she mugged her this.
Oh, I was ready for it. I was ready.
She mugged her this.
She mugged her this
Oh
one.
my God. Like, ooh, bitch. You're getting, yeah. Yeah. I live for it. I live for it because it just, something about who she is as a Black entertainer and a Black Brazilian entertainer just makes me feel like that I feel like that she has a conviction about herself because she's been a person that has not had life easy. You know what I mean? She gives off that air of like, I know who I am and da da da. And I feel like it's because she's possibly been one of those people that was told so many times that she couldn't do this or couldn't do that or wasn't good enough for this or wasn't pretty enough for this or this, that, and the other. But like something about her and the way she carries herself is just an inner confidence and an inner control of, I know who I am. I'm Organzza. Like, you need to find out who I am. I don't need to introduce myself to you. Like that kind of presence. And she always has it. She has it in the confessionals. She has it when she's hanging out with everybody else. She has it when she's on the runway. Standing at this point.
Yeah.
Very much standing.
I'm going to jump ahead of you, David, because I'm going to leave that up because I know that's not your score, but that is my score. Mugged her. She did that, period. All right. Now your score, David.
Look, she still mugged her, but she got an 85 from me.
Work.
That's fine.
That's still my top score of the night.
Yeah, I'm about to say we can't expect a whole lot more from David when it comes to that score. That's the best we got.
Really good.
But she did really good. So
not to mention as well, I kind of hope that in some way she is able to incorporate an Organzza into all of her runway looks because I think that would be amazing.
That'd be good.
Oh, so I would live for that.
I would live for that. That would be great. So I want to jump quickly into the performance because that's what came up next. We talked about it a little bit, but I don't know if y'all have any more comments. I honestly, who was your standouts? Who were, the people who were there, so go ahead.
Well, I actually wrote down my tops and bottoms. I had my top 3 and my bottom 3. And when they started calling the girls, I'm like, these are definitely the safes. They only named one person that was in my group of 6 as safe. So otherwise, I thought I was in line with the judges, but I was not as in line with them as I thought. So this might be kind of a hot take here, but my tops, I did not have Organzza in it. I had her as safe. For me, I thought her and Naza were so married. Their roles, they were both very good. They were both standouts for me, but they probably would have been like tied for 4th for me. And I get giving it to Organzza based on the runway. But I had Rubi in the top. I really liked Rubi in this challenge. And of course, I had Miranda in the top. My other top was actually Betina. There was something about her in this challenge. Every time it was showing anybody, she was in the background. She was often blurry, but my eyes went straight to her because she was by far the most expressive person, and she kept stealing my attention. And they had nothing, not one negative thing to say about her in the acting challenge. They didn't like her runway, which we all thought was pretty good. So the fact that she was not in the top is crazy to me. Anybody go watch that back and then pay attention to her because she is a scene stealer throughout. She was my winner. I was so confused by this judging. So confused.
Okay,
Which
so
conversely, that means that my bottom three, yes, I had Tristan down there. Yes, I had Dallas down there. I actually had Hellena down there because she kind of faded for me compared to everybody else. And then they kept like complimenting her acting. And sure, I'm sure it was fine, but I didn't notice her. And that was enough for me to put her in the bottom. Her runway was great, so if I was factoring that in, she would not be in my bottom three. But I'm so used to them really just going by the challenge when picking tops and bottoms. So that's what I did.
Okay.
Well, my choices are wildly different from David. But based off of everybody, the 4 people that they picked were safe.
There are 5 saves.
5 saves. Sorry, 5 saves. I wouldn't have fully agreed with 5 of those saves. I would have put 2 of those people in the bottom as opposed to 2 people that were already in the bottom. I would have put Shannon and I would have put Shannon and I would have put Aquarela in the bottom. I liked in the challenge. Even though I do agree that Organzza and Naza were kind of like one and the same. I like Naza more than Organzza, so I would have put Naza a little bit higher. But I personally did like Hellena a lot. I love the fact that everybody seemed to have the most craziest and goofiest of makeup on, almost except her and Ruby. They were like the only 2 people who actually tried to make themselves look pretty. And like Helena's face was just taking me there. Like she just looked beautiful. And
but
like,
was it the acting? But was it the acting?
I liked her acting too.
Okay.
I thought that her acting was some of the more natural acting than everybody else's. I thought that when other people said their lines and stuff like that, she was able to go right in and come right out, and it didn't seem weird or like she was trying to pick up on somebody else's line or something like that. It seemed like she had a decent amount of acting experience because it just seemed kind of natural for me. It didn't seem as farcical as everybody else was. It's like everybody else she seemed like she was playing the straight man as opposed to everybody else. And I think that's possibly one reason why I liked her, is because everyone got to be all crazy and goofy. And she was like more low key, but like goofy. Like when she would like be like poking around with Melusine and stuff like that. I thought that was that little rapport I liked. And after they had got past Naza, I started kind of fading on all of the girls that were coming in. I felt like after Naza, Ruby and Miranda and Hellena were the 3 that I remembered the most out of all of the rest of the other girls that came in, because it was like 80 other girls that came in after that. I would say my tops, I wouldn't have had Organzza in the top. I would have had Organzza high safe because of her runway and because she did do good in the challenge. But like my tops in the runway, in the challenge would have been Hellena, Miranda, and Naza. And then my bottoms would have been like Aquarela, because Aquarela kind of faded out a lot for me. Tristan, because Tristan started out strong, and then really it felt like once more personality started coming into the scene, hers kept getting more and more diluted. It's like everybody else was a little bit bigger than she was. So that kind of hurt her. And then Shannon, I felt like, didn't really take advantage of the fact of her being this dead body that's not actually dead. Like she was just, I really wish she would have camped it up a lot more and not spent like half of the challenge not even moving. You know what I mean? Like, I did like when she did get a little campy, like when they were taking pictures and stuff, and she's like, I thought that was funny, but like, I wish she would have done more of that throughout the entire thing instead of just waiting towards the tail end. So, but yeah.
Not Dallas on the bottom?
No, I wouldn't have put Dallas in the bottom. I would put Dallas in the... Yeah.
I want to defend Shannon.
I would have had a bottom 4.
Then,
to be honest with you.
I do think Shannon had the hardest job here because she got the part that was, you're supposed to lay still with your eyes closed. And I think she did as much as she could with it. Like, I get what you're saying, but I think if she had done too much more with it, it would have been distracting. and it would have been a little bit confusing to the storyline because she's
But
we're
I
supposed to
would've
think
loved it.
she's dead.
But I would have loved it even like it was one of those things where they kept doing a lot of like camera cuts to her face and her laying down. I would have loved it even if she would have just had a different facial expression every time they cut to her. Like, and one time her tongue's out, and then one time she's, like this, and one time she's like, just something like that. But it was just very like for the full half of it, I felt like she just didn't do a lot of taking advantage of that fact of like people are going to have to be looking at you because you're the dead body. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she could have been putting the peace sign up one time while she was dead, or you know what I mean, or something like that would have been hilarious. If every time they went to her, she had a different pose, I would have cried because I would have been waiting to go back to her. Like, okay, how does she look now? What is she doing now? And it was just like through the first half of it, I was like, okay, so is she going to do anything, or is she just going to lay there the whole time? And then when she actually started doing stuff, I was like, okay, this is cool. I just kind of wish she would have done more of that, So
it would have been so funny if she would have had she would have took props into the casket with her, and so every time she come back, they'd be like,
one point she's laying there with like a whole roll of condoms on her or something.
Right, just roll, and then next to
a COVID mask,
just little stupid stuff just a whole little different props to just make it funny. I think for me, for just the challenge alone, I'm not thinking about the runway, but for particularly just the challenge alone, my top three probably would be Miranda, Hellena, and Betina. I think they were the ones who I kind of laughed a lot with. I think Organzza and Naza was right there at the third, fourth position. They should have been they were one. Their character was one to me because they were so much alike and it was so different that you couldn't really tell them apart. So I feel like they would be a very strong fourth, but right at the third place door. So right there. Very high safe for me. The bottom, I would probably put Tristan, I would put Dallas, and I would put probably Aquarela. Because I don't remember what Aquarela did at all.
I don't
remember. I do. I noticed that she really was acting well. I don't think she had a lot of lines. She had a pretty small part compared to everybody. So I think it was difficult for her. I could have seen her being in the bottom, especially taking into account the runway.
Yeah, I just felt like she faded for me and I don't remember. And if I go back and watch it, I'll probably be like, okay, let me pay attention to her and force myself to see what she does. But I just don't know. But yeah, what we thought and what the judges thought was something totally different.
Toss it out the window.
Also, our thoughts are because what the judges said, the tops were Organzza, it was Miranda, and it was Hellena.
And I think we all agree on only one of these people.
I think Miranda.
We all had Miranda.
Yeah,
I thought for sure she was winning this.
I thought she was winning too.
But I thought she was possibly going to too until I started noticing how much
her outfit,
critiquing her outfit.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, if you have to hold her and Organzza in retrospect, they didn't critique Organzza. Like if they both liked, let's say that they liked both of their, or just hypothesize they like both of their acting at the exact same level. Where Organzza's outfit is pushing past Miranda's outfit. So that was why when they did end up doing Miranda as safe and they gave it to Organzza, I was like, something made me think this might happen. You now have 2 wins.
Yep.
The target on your back has grown, bitch.
Yep.
It's grown.
Huge. But I hope she can handle the pressure because that's will come behind that. Because baby is there. But the bottom 3 was Dallas, Betina, and Tristan. Dallas and Tristan, I can see. Betina, I can't really see that.
No business.
I didn't know why Betina was at the bottom. That was weird.
It just tells me they're not featuring her. She's not part of the plan.
Right.
We're not going to give you credit.
Get rid of her in some kind of bullcrap way.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks she's gonna be. But you couldn't deny this bottom 2 because this was the correct bottom 2.
True.
Unfortunately.
But I will say there was a second when Greg was talking to them and Greg said, Betina, you're in the bottom again this week. And I thought she was saying she's in the bottom 2 again this week. And I literally went, what? I screamed out because I was shocked that she was in the bottom too. And then she clarified,
Yeah,
but you're safe.
but you're
And I'm
safe.
like, oh,
No,
okay.
she said because when she was like, Betina, you're in the bottom again this week. And then they stopped and then they paused and they looked at 18 different bitches. I said, oh, wait, no, she's finna say something else. I was like, no, that's not it.
We ain't done. That's not it.
I was
That's
like, they're
not
pausing
it.
for effect. Hold on. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? And then he was like, you're safe. And I was like, makes sense. Makes sense. I was like, because I don't see outfit-wise how you could have set up and told me that Dallas and Tristan's outfit in any way looked like it would have been better than
Betina's.
I mean, with Betina's, and I feel like that's
Absolutely
how
not.
I always end up coming to my finalization of like who's in the top or who's in the bottom. Is I try to mentally go, let's put all the people that are in the top or the bottom on the same playing field when it came to the main challenge. Let's say it was all left up to the runway. Now where are we at level wise? You know, or if it seems like the runways were closer, I'll be like, okay, well, let's say they were all on the same level runway-wise. Who did better?
Challenge.
And so that's why with this one, it seemed like they all possibly, or they were critiquing them and making it seem like all three of them did about the same in the challenge. And I was like, well, if this comes to the runway, then Betina's not going to be in the bottom.
All right.
Well, and I do want to say, if Betina, if you watched this last week, you might have seen that I said, I kind of wanted Diva to stay because I felt like she had more potential in this competition. Let me eat those words because Betina, you definitely won me over this week with your challenge performance. I thought you were so good.
Period.
What? You set up and actively wanted for somebody to go home?
How dare you?
Horrible.
How dare you? Horrible.
You were at home saying it. That's
right. That's the difference.
No.
But then let's talk about a lip sync because once again, this was very parallel to Germany. And Tristan, I'm going to speak to you. And I'm going to say this because I have to say this because Tristan is actually on my team. I was rooting for you. But I don't like when people are like, I didn't connect with the song, so therefore I can't perform the song. You're a performer. You ain't got to connect with the song to perform the song. It ain't your song. You didn't write the song. You ain't got to be Beyonce with the song. All you got to do is lip sync the song and perform the song. At least know the words. That's literally all you have to do is know the words. Because if you're a performer, the performance is going to come out of you anyway when the music hits because it's just what you do. But you got to know the words. I don't understand. If you are a drag queen and this is what you do and you're a performer who lip syncs to songs at clubs on a regular basis and you get in a competition that said you're going to have to lip sync for your life at some point, here's the songs. They're giving you the songs. It's not like they surprised you yesterday with the song and say, here goes the song, learn it today, and you got it. They gave you the song, and you can't even take the time to learn the words because you can't connect with the song. That's disappointing. I was very disappointed in that. I was very disappointed to hear you say that. And that's why you gave that performance. That's me. I'm done. Y'all can have it.
I felt like, for me, it felt a bit confusing because when Tristan started out the whole thing, they said that they weren't able to really connect with the song, but they said they loved the artist.
Right.
So I was like, so have you not heard the song? We did not get English subtitles when it came to the lyrics of the song. Because I had mine on English and baby, it still gave them to me in everything else. Yeah. And so I was like, I don't know what the subject matter of the song was about, but it seemed very just cute and poppy. Maybe that's just not your type of style of music to perform to, which I can understand that. I mean, I'll give it to you this one. I'll use an example. My brother, Luca Me, who lives here in Chicago, is not a pop baby. You're not gonna see my brother run around here trying to do no Britney Spears or nothing like that. That ain't his bag at all. But I think that the difference is it didn't come off fully that way. It didn't come off like you knew the song at the back of your hand and everything like that. It just wasn't like your type of style of performance song. It came off like you almost didn't know the song because you spent a lot of the lip sync looking down. You weren't even like looking out into the audience or to the crowd or to the judges. It was a lot of you with your head down walking from one direction to another to a point where Dallas almost ran into you a couple times with her trying to go back and forth across you with you not seeing where you were going and you were just like this walking. And she's even looking at you like, she said it, multiple people said it. Like they just wanted to grab you and be like, lip sync for your life. What are you doing? It's like you're not trying. You know what I mean? And like, I hated that because I felt that exact same way too. Because baby, when the music cut in, Miss Dallas was going. Miss Dallas knew every word. She knew every inflection. She was giving you the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, boo. I was like, oh shoot, she's gonna clear him. She's gonna clear him out, like completely. Like even when it got to some of the messy parts of her being on the floor and stuff, it still looked better than what Tristan was doing. It just almost seemed like Tristan just wasn't trying, and that's what sucked so much because I was like, dang, this is that last ditch effort where it's like, if it's not this, then you're gone, kind of a thing, you know. So. Yeah. But I say props to Dallas because Dallas did good. Dallas did a really good job.
Dallas ate.
Yeah, I think my perspective is a little bit different than you all because like nobody can convince me unless they straight up say it verbatim that she didn't try to learn these words at some point. Sometimes your brain just is not gonna line up, especially they get a big list of songs. They're having to learn a bunch of songs, and I'm sure if she could have willed herself to say all the lyrics, she would have, but there's only so much you can do if you just don't know the song, if it's not retaining. So I think she tried her best, and it was not the right song for her, and it was never going to work for her because it just wasn't in her brain, even if she tried to learn it. And I don't care. She said she couldn't connect to the song. That maybe she didn't connect it, but that doesn't mean she didn't try to learn the words.
Stop.
That
I'm gonna
does
stop you right
not
there.
mean
I'm gonna
she
jump
didn't
in
try
there.
to learn the words.
I ain't worried about her words. I ain't even worried about the words. You ain't got to learn the words. But she didn't even try to perform it. She didn't even try to perform it well. That was a give up moment. She
I don't
gave
think
up.
so.
She didn't perform. If I don't know the words, I'm going to at least dance my butt off and give you a performance to make the judges know that I'm trying. She walked across the stage and kicked her leg up and walked across the stage and kicked her leg up and walked back across the stage. She did not try. She gave up in that moment because she didn't connect with the song.
For me, it was just noticeable when it came to, I felt like the chorus was the one part of the song that she knew the most, but it seemed like everything in her clicked on when the chorus came on. And then when the chorus went off, it clicked right off. So it was like, even if she did or didn't know it's almost like, I don't know if maybe that was something that she was kind of internalizing. If she didn't know the words that well, it's almost like that took her out of those parts of the performance. Because the parts where she did know the words, it did seem like she was trying. It did seem like she was trying to throw her hair around and do some da-da-da. But it was like the parts where she did not know the words, it was like she shut down. And that's why I was like, what's going on?
But to me, that doesn't say that she's not putting out effort. That tells me she's going through a traumatic experience on the stage because she knows she's failing. And it's like, for me, I wasn't mad at her. I felt really sad for her. I
just felt it felt like she was giving up. And even when everybody in the girls about like, come on, I just want you to just do something. She wasn't doing anything because if she was doing something, they wouldn't be like, come on, Tristan, do something. Like people who were in the building were like, I want her to do something. We're watching.
Yeah, I hate that they went to Greg and Greg was sitting there like,
do something.
Not everybody's wired the same way. Not everybody's wired. Some people just
but this is what your job is. This is what you do.
I know. Okay, and maybe she's not cut out for this.
I'm about to say maybe she's a great drag queen, but she's not great for Drag Race.
Yeah, I'm just not going to question her willpower. And
we'll put it this way. We can end it this way. Mariah. Maybe those people. Mariah Paris Balenciaga said on a podcast interview with Delta Work, a former Drag Race contestant with herself, She said she feels that everyone is entitled to do drag and everyone should have the opportunity and the chance to do drag. But the stage is not made specifically for everybody. And she said, yes, nothing is wrong with getting in the geesh and feeling the fantasy and da-da-da-da. But when it comes to certain aspects of performing in certain ways, that might not just be how it links up with your drag. And that's not saying you're not a good drag entertainer. No. That just may not be the medium in how your drag goes the best. You know, I feel like that I would probably see Tristan doing more drag that's along the lines of stuff that like Luca Me would do. That would be more artistic and more widespread and more left to interpretation as opposed to them getting up and rapping or lip syncing a pop song. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, I feel like that this was one of those instances where it just didn't click the best for them. But I still think that they're an amazing entertainer, and I think that they did a good job for making it on the freaking first season of Drag Race Brasil. Like, that's a testament in itself. So.
I mean, and I do think she's a great drag artist. I think that they have a great niche in what they do. Like she was saying, she's starting a founding group with some new style of drag that is not what people are used to in Brazil. And so she's one of the founding people to do that. So I believe her drag in that niche is probably amazing. She's probably spectacular in that. But maybe in this particular, like I think Logan said it before, you're good at drag queen, you're a good drag queen and a drag artist, but maybe not good for drag race because this particular thing asks for things that is not in your wheelhouse and is not something that you feel connected to. And so I feel like, and this was one of the moments that Tristan just didn't feel connected with this. Not saying I'm saying she didn't try, but she gave up in mid-performance. She gave up mid-performance. I don't think she didn't try. She tried, but it just wasn't clicking, so she stopped. And that is what I'm saying. She stopped. Because if she didn't stop, the people in the building wouldn't have been yelling, "Come on, girl, do something." If she was doing something, they would have no reason to yell at her and tell her to do something. But I still think she's an amazing drag artist. And I still am happy she was on Team Lana. I would pick her again if she was on any other show because I think she's an amazing artist. This just wasn't the moment for her.
Yeah. That sucks. It sucks because I mean that's the unfortunate situation that I think a lot of people don't realize. And I think part of it too is because they've just categorized them as a subcategory of drag. But Drag Race is very much like a pageant. I know that a lot of times people want to make fun of pageant queens and stuff like that, or sit up and say that pageant queens won't win Drag Race or this, that, and the other. But Drag Race in itself is very much like a pageant. You come with a package. They give you a specific set of categories. They want you to interpret those categories the best that you can. But then also at the end of the day, the judging is still left to these impartial people that don't know you off of whatever you show them, off of that specific guideline. And it doesn't mean that your drag is good or isn't good or is bad or isn't bad. It means that's just a checklist of what they are looking for. And so sometimes it might not be what it is that you're presenting, or it might not be what you're presenting at that time. Hey, maybe they'll bring her back for an All-Stars for Brazil and they'll be looking for an entirely different checklist of stuff. And it'll be every single thing she'll hit. And she'll end up winning the whole thing. We don't know. You know what I mean? So once again, I think that it sucks that we lost somebody, but we got to find out more and learn about another amazing drag artist in the world, and we're going to see more amazing things from them in the future.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say her final words when she was in the workroom and like writing on the mirror, all that. Maybe some of my favorite words I've gotten from a queen, and I'm actually kind of surprised I aired it because she was not being super kind to the show, but she was doing it in a very gracious way. But like she was dropping, she was mic dropping.
She was shading the producers a little bit.
And there's one thing she said that really stood out to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, girl. She said, it's wrong to reproduce beauty standards that oppress people. And I'm like, that felt like a big mic drop moment from her.
I mean, she felt like they didn't understand her, and like they wanted something from her that wasn't her. And she has every right to say that.
Yeah. And I also like that she talked about how underrepresented people from North Brazil, from her area, are on these sort of platforms, on these shows. So I really like that she was able to speak out on that. And it's a shame we lost her so early.
Yeah, hopefully this will be the stepping stone to get more people from North Brazil to be on shows like this. She is the catalyst that's going to bring more people who look like her, who maybe has drag like her or does different drag, but at least from North Brazil to be able to be on this show. This is the first season. So they got many more seasons to go where they can have many more representations from the country, and I can't wait to see it. And I think Tristan is a good representation of that, and it will show more people. And maybe they'll stop asking for beauty standards that oppresses people. I'm just
There we
saying.
go.
But on that note, we've been here long enough. We talked y'all whole face off. So we go because we because we tired of talking to y'all. No, we're not tired of talking to y'all, but we love y'all and we appreciate you for watching. Please, 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 if you're in state of this whole 2-hour conversation and you haven't hit the subscribe button, why haven't you? Hit the subscribe button because obviously you enjoyed the conversation if you stayed the whole time. So hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons that goes along to support us on your visual or audio platforms. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Get your cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. You can get all of that. And if you hit the dislike button on there, hit it twice. And you can follow us on Twitter if you want. You know, we talk about some interesting things. We're fun. If you're in Chicago, ever go see Eve the Bunny do her thing. And if you just don't, I'm not going to tell you where I am so you can come see me because I don't do anything that you would want to come see. But, just follow me on Twitter. That'd be great. And I think that's it. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Reagan Yak.
Oh, not Reagan. Yeah.
Reagan, yeah.